Richmond's Morning News with Rich Herrera starts now. Wake up with Rich or play catch up all day. At 9:33, we break all the rules. This is News Radio WRVA.
It is 9:04 this morning on Richmond's Morning News. I'm Rich Herrera. Wow. Today, pretty intense. Started off the show talking about what happened at WNBA game. Somebody shows up wearing a T-shirt, says, no, you got to cover it up. We're going to talk about that coming up at 9:33. Then we talked with General Burt Mississauga, who's running for United States Senate here in Virginia against Mark Warner. Then we had Governor Scott Walker joining us from the Young Americans Foundation, Tom Garrett, delegate as well. And it's kind of gotten to this theme of your kids are going away to school, something to think about, especially with Scott Walker. And one of the things you're going to hear from your kids is, oh my gosh, it's so expensive. Yep, life is expensive. Get used to it. The whole conversation about the $20 burrito has got people scratching their heads. I've talked about it, how the price of everything's gone up, and I keep reminding everybody, American Rescue Plan, Inflation Reduction Act. But let's try to make sense of this. So we had him on the program, I guess, about a week ago, and I had a great conversation and wanted to bring him back. Alan Mendenhall, a doctor, PhD, from Heritage Foundation, joining us right now on News Radio WRVA, coming back on the program, because right now, Wall Street says everything's great. Main Street says everything's great, but I want to know what's going on my street to help heads or tails of what's really going on with the economy and the messaging we're getting out of the GOP and the Democrats. He's joining us right now on News Radio WRVA. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I am great. I appreciate you taking time for me this morning. Okay. I get these reports every day. I watch the cable news. I see what CNN, MS Now says. I see what Newsmax. I see what Fox says. I hear what pundits say. Where is this economy right now? Because I keep hearing great things out of the White House and from some sectors, and then I hear people saying burritos are $20.
Yeah, well, it's a tough messaging task for the Republicans because they have to point to the math and the data, which actually show that the economy is pretty good. But if people don't feel as if it's pretty good, then they don't like to be told that, hey, what you're feeling isn't accurate. So it does put Republicans in a tough position. But if you look at 2021 and 2022, when the economy was indisputably bad, and in 2021, across the full year, headline inflation averaged at 7%. In 2022, it averaged at 6.5%. So it was really high, a lot higher than the 3.4% that it's at now. People actually thought the economy was good. They actually had some confidence in the economy. If you look now, people have low confidence in the economy, but inflation is way lower. And people will try to explain it, and they say, well, it's because gas prices are so high. Well, if you look at the average gas price over the course of the year, of course, before the Iran conflict, it was $2.80 in January, $2.90 in February. If you look over the course of the year, it's just about $3.22. Well, in 2022, it averaged over $4. So it's weird. It's almost a paradox that people have felt good about the economy when it wasn't, and bad about the economy when it was good. And so it's a strange little paradox, and it's a tough thing to explain. Now, there are periods, of course, like the 2008 financial crisis, where people felt bad about the economy and the economy was bad, but it's just interesting to me. I think that when people feel really good about the economy, they may spend and borrow too much, which can create problems. But when they feel less confident, they save more, they pay down debt, they help create a healthier economy. So there is a little bit of a mismatch, which makes it tough for Republicans, but Republicans do need to emphasize the numbers. It's just, how do you emphasize the numbers without sort of what I'll call gaslighting people, without saying, hey, what you're feeling isn't real? Because there is affordability problem out there, and it's related to high mortgage rates and things like that. Inflation isn't where the federal target is. The Fed wants a 2%, but all things considered, we're looking okay. And the stock market's broken more records than Taylor Swift this year. So that's been an astounding thing. But again, even if you use that example, not everybody has access to capital markets. I mean, they have access, but not everybody is investing in stocks.
Wow. Dr. Mendenhall dropping a Tay-Tay reference. I hear T Swizzle talking about it. If you talk about Jason Kelsey, I'm going to go get another Diet Coke and just let you finish the show. But here's where I want to go with this, sir. You remember when George Bush was in office, gas prices went through the roof. I think it really cost him quite a bit. Joe Biden, remember the stickers that people would put at their gas pumps with Biden pointing, I did this? Is the touch point for the American people the price of gasoline? Because that's the one thing that will decide whether I'm going to go take my kids to get ice cream this weekend or not, depending on how much it costs me to fill up my tank of gasoline. And it's really hard for anybody to say, well, the economy's doing great, but I have to think twice about how much gasoline I put in my car. The juxtaposition doesn't work, I think, for American people.
Yeah, the Democrats certainly are going to be emphasizing gas prices because they are elevated, related directly to Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. And gas basically affects everything up and down the supply chain because you need transportation for essentially every good and service in the economy. So, Democrats realize that gas prices are something that everybody can relate to, and so that's why they'll focus on it. Again, if you look at what they were in January and February, they were well under $3.
Right.
Then in March, they tick up over $3. April, they go over $4. May, they go over $4. They're still, hovering around that $4 mark. But, again, that's where they were in 2022.
It was worse, but at least I have a reason right now because of what's going on with Iran. When gas prices went through the roof, that was simply too much money between the two bills that Biden passed that he was so proud of, the American Rescue Plan, Inflation Reduction Act, shot too much money into the system and everything rose exponentially, and it hasn't come back down yet. We've talked about that a lot on the program. But again, that's the part where, and I wish the president understood this. I wish the Republicans understood this because I know the Democrats do. Wall Street can do this. Main Street can do this. But on my street, if the price of gasoline is too high, then I feel like the whole economy is not working. And I don't care what goes on with the Fortune 500 companies. If I can't put gas in my car, I think that's the most important touch point. Now I understand why this is so important that we get gas prices back so people can feel better about the economy. I think that's the whole reason why people feel so bad. It's 100% of the gas prices.
Yeah, if you look at headline inflation, it's 3.4%. But if you look at core inflation, which strips out energy and food costs, it's 2.5%. So it's much lower. And, the Iran situation it's a tough messaging because, preventing Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon is a vital national security priority. So is protecting American energy security and keeping gas and everyday costs affordable. So we have to pursue both a secure America and an affordable America. And so to that end, the Trump administration has increasingly shifted to economic warfare against Iran. And I think this is a wise decision to try to, keep the high, talk about high inflation. I mean, Iran's is like 70 to 90%.
Their economy is about to collapse. But I guess I'll go back to this, Doctor. When I worked in Major League Baseball, I worked for a couple teams that were just sabermetric focused. So I worked for the Oakland A's during Moneyball. When they started that, I worked at Tampa Bay. We're all about sabermetrics. The average baseball fan, and a lot of people just didn't understand it at the time. And I would go out there and explain, well, this is why we're doing this, and this is why we're doing that. And they go, we don't care. We don't score enough runs. I almost feel the same way over here where a lot of this stuff is just way over my head. If you back out the cost of gasoline and food and everything, but that's the difference between whether I'm using credit cards at the end of the month or I have money left over in the bank. And I just don't know if the people get it. I get while we're doing all of this, but when it comes to, hey, Rich, I've got, it's Thursday. You don't get paid till Monday. We got $37 in the bank. You better be careful this weekend. That's the part where I think people feel like the economy's not working for them.
Totally. I agree with you. And it doesn't help to say, well, the CPI is this and the PCE is this and the JOLTS report says this.
And Rich has $37 and he better not go do anything or he's going to get yelled at by his wife.
Yeah, but people don't like getting getting told a bunch of math numbers and saying, well, I don't know what that means. Like, where do I fit in there? Are you saying that I'm, not doing something right? I live in Auburn, Alabama. It's a college town, and it has a lot of what you might call, I don't know, redneck millionaires. And these are guys who never went to college. They started working when they're 18. They never had student loan debt. They work in like plumbing. They do electrical work, HVAC, roofing, construction, landscape, all these kinds of things. And a lot of them bought cheap properties when they were young, and now they rent them to college students, again, because Auburn University's there. And they're skilled, so they can fix things themselves when, as a landlord, when things go wrong, the tenant calls them up, they can fix it. I mean, these guys live really well. They buy Auburn season tickets. They take these boats out on Lake Martin. They play golf. I mean, it shows that some of the way that people have been taught, young people in particular who are really frustrated, have been told, you have to go to college. You have to do this. You have to do that. And it turns out they're getting saddled with student loan debt. They're getting all this. And they're not realizing what they've been told.
Thank you, President Obama. Right. Thank you, President Obama, for federalizing all this. Although I think you and I should work on something. I was an economics major, classical economist, but I didn't graduate from college, so I'm going to have to get you to be the lead on this paper. I think if we came up with something different, the CPI and all the rest of those are fine. It's almost the hotshot index. How many people at the end of the month, or 5 days before the pay period, have to have their wives say, hey, hotshot, cool it. We're not doing anything. I think if we understood that and the politicians understood that, they could really see what the American people are feeling right now, that hotshot index, because I get that call, hey, this is how much we have left in the bank. Do not go do anything stupid.
I like it, and I am curious to see how the implementation of that would work. When we start gathering data, do we survive the process? I don't know.
You, me, and then my mentor still comes on with this, Dr. Richard Bilas, who's a classical economist who taught me, in the long term, there will be full employment. I think if we could talk about that and the Republicans could understand that, then they could really feel the angst that the American people are feeling right now on the hotshot index. Yeah.
And I will say one quick sort of thing on the unemployment rate since you brought it up. It's at 4.1%. But if you look at where the job losses are, they're largely in the government payrolls and education. And jobs like in manufacturing are up over 31,000 this year. The private sector is adding jobs. So we're actually losing jobs in government, which I think is great. I think that's good. So some of the data,
unless you're a Republican in Northern Virginia, that's tough to get elected when that happens in the Commonwealth.
Exactly.
Hey, Professor, we're going to work on this hotshot index. I remember I worked with a guy in baseball, and his wife would look at us before we go on the road trip, and she'd look at her husband and go, hey, listen, hotshot, do not go buying anything stupid on this road trip. We still have bills to pay before the end of the month. So that's where I came up with the hotshot index.
I like it. We'll try to work that one out.
Thank you, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Talk soon.
All right, take care. Dr. Alan Mendenhall, PhD, Heritage Foundation. I'm not a PhD. I just have a couple ideas. Yeah, we used to go and they give us meal money because they give us, money to eat. And we got $89 a day. So it's a 10-day road trip. You get almost $900. And she goes, hey, listen, hotshot, do not go beyond that because I got bills to pay. So it's hard to feel like the economy is great when you're going, okay, you better be careful because you don't have that much money left in the bank at the end of the month. Let's tell you this, that the program today, I got to remind everybody we're gonna feed you next Saturday at Tom Leonard's. Again, money I make, we're going to give to Reads Across America. Hey, Dave, I'm going to get this commercial in just a second. Let's take a break. We'll come back, and I'll get